You gotta have more realistic expectations about that first job you get. Now I know some people are already gonna disagree. Look, when I got out of prison, I had a part-time job at minimum wage. I didn't have no car. I had to walk to work. I had to ride the bus to do the parole classes, the drug classes. Things were a little rough in the beginning, but that's where I had to start off, and I worked my way up, and things are okay now. But they weren't always that way. If you have family or friends or somebody who's willing to support you until you find that perfect job, go for it. But most people coming out of prison are not in that situation. Most people have to start from the ground up, and it's very difficult. So what I want to tell you is to have realistic expectations about what it's going to be like when you get out trying to find that first job. Now, I know I often speak as if I'm speaking to people who are currently serving time in prison. Some have the ability to watch these things, some don't. But as family and friends or reentry professionals who are concerned about helping people get out of prison, encourage them to have realistic expectations. Here's what I mean about realistic expectations, at least 2 points. Number 1, be realistic about an expected salary or pay at that first job. I've had people tell me that they need a job at $20 an hour because they're worth it. Now, who knows where the economy is going to go in a few years. $20 an hour might not be nothing. But right now, $20 an hour is a good job if you get that as soon as you come out of prison. I just don't think that it's very likely unless you have people who are hooking you up with that job. So most of the time, I'm talking to people who are coming home to nothing. If you have family, friends, and loved ones in prison, you want to encourage them to be realistic about that first salary. Yes, they want to get out and they want to do well and be successful and help make up for everything that they missed and pay the bills and help the kids. But that might not always be realistic right off the top. They might have to start at a low-paying job, and that's okay. The second point about having realistic expectations is the actual occupation, the actual industry or job that they go into. So concern for the salary is the first part. Make sure you have realistic expectations about what you're going to make at that first job. The second one would be the kind of occupation you go into. If a person is taking college level courses in prison or taking some sort of vocational trade while in prison, ideally they would want to get a job in that industry, in that profession. If they got a welding vocational certificate, then they want to go and get a welding job. But it doesn't always work out like that, and that's okay. It's actually pretty normal. This became real to me one time when I helped someone who had served a lot of time in prison, and I had a job for him within just a few weeks of his release from prison, and he didn't want to take it because it was not the kind of job he wanted. It was good money, but it wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to do something else, so he passed it up. Well, he didn't end up getting the job he wanted, so he passed up that opportunity because he had his sights set on something else. So having realistic expectations about the salary and having realistic expectations about the actual occupation are at least 2 important points to keep in mind when their feet hit the ground and they got to find a job. But I know many people are like, what about following your dreams and following your passion? Well, I don't want to discourage anybody from following their dreams and following their passion. But in my view and in my experience, you can do that later. When you first get out of prison, you just got to get whatever you can get, start paying bills, start making up for lost time, do whatever you can. And while you're in that job, you can be searching for the ideal job, the better job, your dream job. But don't expect that as soon as you get out of prison, you're going to get the dream job that pays all the bills and brings you out of poverty. Sometimes in our culture, we're encouraged to follow our dreams and follow our passion, and we may not be good at what we wish we could do. Sometimes we're just not skilled enough to do well in our dream job or in our passion, whatever it is that we're interested in. And we may have passed up a lot of good opportunities waiting for that dream job. And the last thing I'll say on this is, if you have family and friends who are willing to support you until you find that right job, that dream job, the perfect job, cool. But not everybody is in that situation. In fact, most people are not in that situation. And if you are in that situation where family and friends are willing to support you, make sure they really are willing to support you, because they mean well and they want to, but make sure you're all on the same page about what that means.